Guys, Linnea here. I'm here to talk about hedge witches, green witches, and kitchen witches, and witches in general. So the first thing I want to say is every witch on the planet who's worth her crust in magic is a green witch, a kitchen witch, and a hedge witch. Mainly because most witches put magic into everything they do, and that includes cooking. That includes working in the kitchen. What is the big difference between kitchen witches, hedge witches, and green witches? Hedge witches are all about the herbs. Magical uses, ingestive uses, healing uses. Hedge witches are very herb driven. Green witches and kitchen witches are extremely centered and very close. A kitchen witch is someone who does most of their magics in the kitchen. Not meaning that they don't have a witchy room, but meaning their magics itself are contained to the kitchen. So they do their magic with cooking. And they do their magics with cleaning. And so on and so forth. And yes, they use a lot of herbs. But they use a lot of ingredients, not just herbs. And then green witches is a tricky one. A green witch could be a kitchen witch. A green witch could also be someone who recycles everything. It depends on the person's interpretation of that word. But a green witch is very close, in some contexts, to a hedge witch and a kitchen witch. They work very strongly with herbs. They work very strongly with nature. And that's more a green witch, the nature-driven witch, does a lot of her workings outside in nature, out among the trees, gathers her plants from the wild and not necessarily growing them. Kitchen witches tend to grow their own herbs. Hedge witches tend to grow their own herbs. Green witches tend to work with the nature of everything. And so those are kind of the differences. But again, all of these can be taken as someone interprets them. Someone who never touches an herb in their life may consider themselves a hedge witch, and that's fine. We all have the right to be what we feel we are. So if you resonate with a hedge witch and you never touch an herb, you're a hedge witch. And I mean, that's how I feel about it. I personally believe hedge witches are very herb driven. But I don't want anyone to feel like they can't call themselves what they feel like they are attracted to most, which is the word or the jumping the hedge, which a hedge witch crosses the hedge. And what that is the hedge is the line between this realm and the realm of the non-living, or the spirit world, so to speak. A hedge witch, yes, is very herb driven, but they also cross the hedge very often and work with spirit and in the spirit realm. They do a lot of shadow work with ancestry and so on and so forth. So hedge witches, I mean, it gets deep. But if you consider yourself a hedge witch, who am I to tell you you're not? So I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to say to anyone that you're not this because of this reason or that reason. You're anything you want to be. But those are the kind of differences basically between those three witches. However, I think personally, everyone delves into every part of witchcraft when they're a witch. Most witches work a little bit with herbs. Most witches do a little bit of work in the kitchen. Most witches do a little bit of work outside in nature. And so we don't have to wear a label. We can just be witches. We are witches. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. I find that a lot of people who are new to the craft spend an exuberant amount of time trying to decide what kind of witch they are. And in all honesty, it doesn't matter. What matters is, are you practicing? Are you enjoying it? You will be led to the type of witch you are or the label you want to wear over time. But in the beginning, it doesn't really matter. You're just a witch. Enjoy it. Engulf yourself in it. You know, in time, you may decide you're a shadow witch. Who's a shadow witch? A shadow witch is somebody who just works with shadows, with spirit. They do nothing else. They don't work with herbs. They don't cook their meals with witchery. They don't clean their house with witchery. They are just a shadow witch. There are a million different types of witches. Witches I've heard of, witches I haven't heard of. And what happens is we will be drawn to what we want to call ourselves, where we want to wear that label. If we decide to even wear a label, some witches won't even call themselves a witch, which is, again, perfectly fine. So those are my takes on the differences. Those are my opinions of the differences. Please share your own. I'd love to hear them. I could be completely off on some of mine, and I love to be informed and learn. And so I hope that helped. I hope it clarified a few things. If you have any further questions, please put them down. I love doing videos for you guys, and I love having subjects to do them on because I do tend to run out of ideas, especially with my working. I just don't have a whole lot of time. And so it's a big help to me when I get viewer requests. So please keep that up. I love it. I love you guys. You're sacred beings of light and love. Share your love with everyone. Keep that smile going and stay safe and stay well. I'll talk to you in just a bit. I'm doing more today. Bye.